Autism. School is right around the corner, so I'd like to spend some time during this video talking about some documents that may come up this school year, such as an IFSP, an IEP, or an ETR. I know when you first hear about these documents, they may be a bit overwhelming, but I'm here to shed some light on them so that's not as intimidating. The first document I'm going to talk about is an IFSP. Now, an IFSP stands for an Individual Family Service Plan. This document is intended for children who are under the age of 3. So let's say your child is 18 months and you're concerned that they're not walking or maybe they're not talking yet. So you and your doctor think that it's best that your child gets some type of services. Your doctor will then make a recommendation for you to go through Help Me Grow. Now, Help Me Grow will do their own evaluations to determine if your child could use some services. If they find that they do, then you will be provided a service coordinator. Now, this service coordinator will create the document, the IFSP. This document will go over some background information such as the pregnancy, concerns for your child. You will answer some questions like your daily routines, how was bedtime, your concerns, as well as your child's strengths. Based off your concerns, you will then as a team create some outcomes, your goals. So what do you want your child to learn? So let's say your child is a very picky eater and your main goal at this point is to get them to try different foods. So your outcome may be Mikey will try a variety of different foods during meal times. Once you decide on an outcome together as a team, you will then decide on who will provide these services. Now, with an outcome like feeding, it could be an occupational therapist who could provide these services, or even an EIS, an early intervention specialist. Once you determine who's going to provide these services, you will also determine how often the service provider will be out and for how long. Now, depending on where you live and based off your county, it will determine how your services may look. Most counties, someone will come into your home, spend some time with you and your child, coach you on some things that you can do after they leave, and touch base on a regular. Other counties, such as Franklin County, we have options such as schools, and your child can come into a classroom-based setting, get services daily, and then that teacher or therapist will come out to the home occasionally and touch base with the parent on some additional things they can be doing at home to support your child. Once your child gets ready to turn 3, or if your child is already 3, or even if your child is in elementary, middle, or high school, and if you still have concerns, or if you do have concerns, as a parent, you can request your child be evaluated by the school district. You never have to wait for a teacher to recommend it. If you feel like your child could use some additional support in the classroom, you can ask your child's teacher or the administration team to evaluate your child to see if some services can be provided for your child. That's when an ETR comes into place. The ETR is just a form that stands for Evaluation Team Report. It's the report that's going to show what tests were implemented for your child and the results based on those tests. It'll also go over some background information from your child's history, so maybe birth history or some of the struggles that they've had previously. Now, based off this ETR, you will then meet as a team and go over the ETR to determine if your child qualifies for an IEP. Now, I will tell you, prior to going to this ETR meeting or an IEP meeting, there will be multiple people in that room. It'll be your child's teacher, it'll be an administrator like a principal or an assistant principal, an early intervention specialist or intervention specialist. They may have someone who's going to be taking notes, and of course it's you. So it'll be at least 5 people in that room. So it may be a bit intimidating when you first walk in and you see all these professionals around the table, but don't let it be intimidating. They are there to support you. You have the first and final say on any documents. Sure, they may know the educational background, knowledge stuff, but you know your child, right? You are your child's advocate. You know all your information about your child, so they can't make no decisions without your support. So let's say you go through the ETR, they feel like your child needs services, they start the process for an IEP. Now, an IEP stands for Individualized Education Program or a plan. This form will go over your child's history, their strengths, and some of the things that they need support in. They will create goals/outcomes with you and talk about how they're going to reach those goals. In this document, they will also discuss accommodations and any modifications that need to be implemented into this child's IEP plan. Now, you have say on the accommodations. For instance, you know your child best, right? So maybe they get overwhelmed when there's a lot of people or noises during test time. So you may request that as part of their accommodations, they get to take a test in a different room where there's not so many distractions, or maybe an accommodation could be extra time on a test. Maybe you would like your child to have some silencing headphones so that they're not distracted. Those are some of the accommodations that you can request. In addition to that, you also want to check out what services are going to be provided and how often. You want to make sure that the amount of time that they're going to be working with your child you agree with, and make sure that they're actually reaching that goal. You can also request to meet with your team whenever you want. Now, legally, you have to meet once a year, and the evaluation process takes place every 3 years. So every 3 years, they'll reevaluate your child to determine if they still need support in the classroom, or maybe they need additional support in a different area, just to make sure that your child is still getting services they need, and if they don't need services, that they end it. But every year you will meet as a team to go over the goals that you'll be working on, as well as, to touch base on the accommodations. Let's say you meet in the fall and you like everything that you hear, but in January you notice that your child is struggling. You, as a parent, can legally request that you meet as a team again. It doesn't have to be just that one time. So I know I throw out a lot of information to you in regards to an IFSP and an ETR and IEP. So what I've provided after this video is just some brief points to consider when you're thinking of going for an IEP or requesting this information from your school district, so that you can have as a resource. And then you can always feel free to provide some questions or comments below that I can respond to. So thank you for checking out this video. I hope it brings some much needed guidance in this area. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe below, like, and share. Until next time, take care.